Sports betting exchange apps like ProphetX and NoVig are some of my new favorite apps to bet on. There are a ton of positives and cool features you can use when betting on these apps, but there's also a few things you need to watch out for. These sports betting exchange apps are actually peer-to-peer. No longer us versus the books. We're actually betting against other people around the world that are setting their own odds or accepting the odds you set on specific bets. Yes, that is right. You can actually set your own odds on specific bets. Let's say you like Aaron Judge over 1.5 total bases, but you can only find him at minus 130 on normal sportsbooks. However, you can go ahead and set the odds at minus 110 on either ProphetX or NoVig, and as long as somebody accepts the other side of that bet at the odds that you are offering them, then it's going to go through and you get that bet at way better odds than the market. You guys already know this channel is about profitable sports betting strategies, right? Where we are going to win money and eventually probably get limited on some of these sports books or apps. Well, that's another positive about these sports betting exchange apps. You do not get limited. They don't care how much money you win because you're not betting against them. You're betting against other users. Now, the true point of me making this video is to show you guys how to actually be profitable when betting on these apps. Now, before I get into this profitable betting strategy, make sure you guys sign up for both ProphetX and NoVig, which will be linked down in the description below, where you can also take advantage of their deposit matches. The number one way you're going to find profitable bets on these apps and find where people are screwing up when setting their own odds is going to be using a website like Daily Grind Fantasy that's going to help you compare sportsbooks lines and odds to the odds that these users are setting. As you can see here at the very top of the optimizer, it has Max Fried over 5.5 pitching strikeouts, minus 105 odds on NoVig, when the entire sportsbook market has this average odds of almost minus 130. Clearly, this should not be listed at minus 105. Somebody screwed up here. And for that reason, as you can see below my camera, I've locked in Max Fried over 5.5 strikeouts at that minus 105 number. Why are we trusting that the sports books are right when compared to whatever user this is that set these odds on NoVig? Well, these sports books have multi-million-dollar algorithms and models that are all projecting Max Fried to have a better chance to go over 5.5 strikeouts than what this minus 105 odds imply. Placing this at minus 105 is a big deal long term, and it's going to add up as you find more and more bets where the odds actually don't match up with the expected outcome via the books. As you can see here, a $100 straight bet at minus 105 odds would profit you $95. However, if we took it at the market average of minus 129, a $100 straight bet would only profit you $77, which is $18 in extra profit just by line shopping and finding the best odds on NoVig. There are tons and tons of opportunities that exist like this every single day on these apps where the odds just simply don't make sense. Now you can see at the top of my screen, Max Fried has moved from minus 105 to minus 125. I've secured really good value. But one of the things you can do, if you know minus 105 is good value, you can actually go back to Max Fried over 5.5 strikeouts, and then instead of taking this at minus 125, you can toggle this make button, where you're actually going to set your own odds and see if somebody accepts the other side. So we're going to go ahead and put it for minus 105, and then we're going to go ahead and put in how much we would want to place on it. So if we wanted to take another $50 at minus 105, then we could go ahead and select this, and we're going to be offering somebody to accept plus 105 odds on the under. And so now we'll wait and see if somebody accepts the other side. If it goes through, then we will go ahead and get more money down at minus 105 odds. If it doesn't and game time comes and nobody has taken it, then it's just going to cancel and we'll be refunded back our money. That is one of my favorite things to do, and one of my biggest tips when playing these exchange apps is just go ahead and give it a chance. Try and get the best possible odds you can by making your own odds and undercutting the market a tad. The worst that could happen is nobody accepts it and it gets voided and you get your money back. Here's an absolute no-brainer to play on NoVig as well. You can see we're getting Spencer Schwellenbach over 4.5 strikeouts at plus 107 on NoVig. The entire sportsbook market all agrees this has about average odds of minus 121. The only book offering plus money at all is NoVig right now across the market. So if we go ahead and click over 4.5 on NoVig, we can see there is $218 of liquidity available. So we are able to get down at max $218 on this, although we are only going to take $50 of that available liquidity. We are locking in really good value at these odds on NoVig. And now for ProphetX, which works pretty much the exact same way. They actually have a web version and a mobile app you can use, so whatever one you would like to use, go ahead and do that. Ramon Laureano over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. here we are again, getting plus money when the entire sportsbook market has this almost minus 120 average odds and no other book offering plus money. Well, if we come over here to ProphetX and we see the over we're getting at plus 112, we can go ahead and get down at max $627, which is the liquidity available on this side of the bet. But we're gonna go ahead and get down 50 bucks like we did last time and click enter, and boom, we've secured amazing value once again on these apps. Now let's say you do like Justin Verlander over 4.5 strikeouts, but you don't really like it at these odds and it's not good enough value for you to bet. Well, you can go ahead and set your own odds and see if somebody accepts the other side. So we'd come here to the over of 4.5 pitching strikeouts for Justin Verlander, and then we could just set our own odds. So instead of minus 132, let's say our best price and the only price we would play that is minus 120 or lower, right? So we go ahead and do that. We set the stake we want to bet it on, and then go ahead and click place. Now, this will offer the opposite side to somebody else. If they come along and accept it, then our bet goes through and we get minus 120 odds. If it doesn't, it'll be voided once again and we'll get our money back. Real quick, before I share a super important tip about betting on these apps, if you guys have not yet signed up for Daily Grind Fantasy, I'll leave a link down in the description below. But if you sign up using code DustinDGF33, you will get 25% off your very first month. This is very important and something you need to look out for. If you guys are finding good value like this, Jovic over 4.5 assists, right, off Daily Grind Fantasy or whatever, it's showing that it's good value based off the market. And you click onto NoVig or ProphetX and you see there is $25,000 in liquidity available on the over. That means somebody has bet $25,000 on the under. That is a huge amount and kind of a red flag, let me tell you why. With people not being limited for being winning sports bettors on these apps and being allowed to set their own odds, you never know what's going on behind the scenes and who has access to these apps and maybe inside information within the NBA. So, seeing high liquidity like this is a red flag because this person could have inside information in getting down as much money as they can since they're not limited on apps like this. And through my own experience in talking with other sharp sports bettors within the community, we have found that when we play plays like this that have high liquidity, we found less success than when we find plays that have only hundreds of dollars worth of liquidity available. And I oftentimes get the question of what is too much liquidity? Where is the line that should be drawn and how much is too much? Well, me personally, I don't like betting anything with over $3,000 in liquidity. I don't really know why that's my exact number, but that's just something I've seen that has been working for me. When you're playing on these apps, take some mental notes, review your bets, and see what is working as far as this liquidity situation goes, and adjust from there if you'd like. And one other really awesome thing about these exchange apps is they are extremely good for arbitrage betting. If you don't know what arbitrage betting is, I've done a bunch of videos on this channel, you can check those out. But essentially, you are finding where two sportsbooks are so far off in odds, you can actually place a bet on the opposite outcomes of a specific bet and end up with risk-free profit. For instance, right here, if we played this on NoVig, Hunter Renfroe over 0.5 total bases at minus 110 odds for 200 bucks, and then on Bet365, we took him under 0.5 total bases at plus 125 odds for 170 bucks, we would guarantee ourselves $11 to $12 in profit, no matter if you went over or under. And this website right here is called OddsJam, where it's going to show you all of the best arbitrage opportunities across major sportsbooks, including ProphetX and NoVig. And since you do not get limited on ProphetX or NoVig, you are able to get down a ton of money on these arbitrage bets, which means you can see a ton of profits when arbitrage betting using these apps. If you guys did want to check out OddsJam, I'll leave a link down in the description below for them as well. But if you use my code Dustin35, you'll get a 1-week free trial and 35% off your very first month. I just gave you the recipe for profiting on these exchange apps like ProphetX and NoVig. Take it and run with it. Get in these good value plays, make your own odds, get the best possible odds. That way you are getting better profits when you win, and long term, you're gonna be a profitable sports bettor using these apps. And that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and learned something. If you did, make sure you leave a like, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the way out as we post sports betting content like this every single week.